In this tutorial, I'm just going to recap on how you make a Photoshop brush. So for this example, I'm just going to use a typography layer and convert that into a Photoshop brush. So I'm just going to click here, create my layer. Again, if you need a recap on how to use the type tools that are available in Photoshop, please visit the website. So once I've got my text that I'm going to convert, tip number one, make sure that the text is in black. If it is that you try create a brush where it is in white or a light colour, it really will struggle to define the edges of it. So make sure that what you're making is sort of a darker tone. So in this case, make sure the text is black. You then go to the Magic Wand tool. So make sure the Magic Wand tool is selected, and then you're just going to click on one of the letters. Now what we want to do is add these other characters as well. And to do that, you go to Select and you go to Similar. And what that does is it picks up that pixel pigment in all of the rest of that layer. So it picks up that tone. And in this case, they're all the same colour, so it picks that up. And then what we're going to do from there is then we're going to create our brush. And to do that, you just go to Edit and you just go to what is called Define Brush Preset. You'll get this panel up here. So in this case, I'm going to name it Manchester. So for instance, if you were making a brush of a paint splat or you're making a brush of masking tape, make sure you name them. I'm just going to click OK. Now to move on, I need to deselect this area. So if you go to the top of the screen, go to Select, and then go to deselect. You can see there that the keyboard shortcut is Command and D. So we'll just deselect that area. And then on the layers, we no longer need this type layer, so I'm going to delete that. The second tip for this is whenever you're working with Photoshop brushes, make sure that you've got different layers. The last thing you want to do is paint on these layers. If you make a mistake, it's very difficult to rectify it. So make sure that you create a new layer, and to do that you just click on the little box that's next to the trash can in the layers window. And then you go to your paint tool, so the paint brush here. Again, the shortcut for that is the letter B on your keyboard. And then if you click on this little file at the top here, you'll get the additional features which are in our brush settings. I've just move this to one side. There we go. So here are the brushes. You can see that I've made some additional brushes that I've saved. This is the one that I've made today. So if you hover over your screen and you can't see the outline of the brush, that's because your caps lock is on. So just make sure that you click your caps lock off and you'll see the edge of your brush here. So if you click, you can see you have your brush. Here you can change the size of that, so I can make it smaller if I want to. You can change the colour of it here on your paint palette. So if you want to add a white brush, you can do. Yeah, if it is that you want to change the angle of the brush, let's make this slightly bigger so we can see it. Down here where it says spacing, just make sure that you unclick that. And then this allows you to tilt the brush. So if it is, say for instance, you want it to go along that edge of the building there, you can just slightly rotate this and then you'll be able to then have that there. And that's how you make a Photoshop brush. Now it will save the brush to the device. So if you're working on your own laptop, that's great. If you're working on a college laptop or a college computer, it will only save it to the device. But that's how you make a Photoshop brush.